Hey folks, we're going to start in about 10 minutes or so. Normally, I have prepared a little opening spiel thing, right? Kind of your opening act to the lecture. Today, though, oh my gosh, it's been a crazy discombobulating day. I mean, I shouldn't just blame it on today. I could have done it earlier. I normally do them a day or two before. But 3-day weekend and had fun and all that sort of stuff. And then today, snow, right? And that really threw off this morning. Yeah, things kind of fell apart and so forth. So I'm not quite prepared with an opening spiel. So we're going to do an opening spiel live, right? So those of you who are just coming in and so forth, as you can see right there, yeah, we're not started yet. We're not officially started, but I'm gonna just kind of talk for a bit, kind of show you some things. So you've noticed in my lectures that I have this whiteboard. First, couple things about the whiteboard. So I spent 10 years at Intel Corporation, and I'll tell you, I can't think without a whiteboard. I love these things, right? Opening act. Why did you get up? I'm giving you the opening act right now. Giving it to you now, Scott. Okay, so I love whiteboards. Use them all the time. Now, yeah, I know that I could get an iPad and I could actually have it come up on the screen, and so whatever I write on the iPad comes up on the screen. And trust me, I've been sorely tempted to do that. But I also kind of just like the material aspect of this. Obviously I'm kind of into old school, right? Not hard to tell. I'm into old school. I like this fusion of tech with the old, right? Steampunk lectures, right? Something like that. Anyway, so I like having the whiteboard. But you've probably also maybe noticed I got these little thingamajiggies here. So what are these? Well, as you know, I make these videos I actually have 3 channels, okay? I have Nutshell Brainery, all right? That's the one you're on right now. That's the channel, right? That's Nutshell Brainery. I also have Nutshell Studio Productions. Now, Nutshell Studio Productions is geared toward other faculty members or other video influencers, people who want to do this, people who want to lecture online. If you want to lecture online, if you want to make videos, if you want to do live streaming, all the sort of stuff that you actually see me doing right now, Nutshell Studio Productions has videos that are geared toward teaching other people how to do this. I've just started this, so there's only about 7 or 8, 9 videos out there on it, but I have big plans for it. More about that in a moment. But then I have a 3rd channel called Life in a Nutshell that no one knows about, except you. But Scott, you're the only one watching this, so no one knows about it, right? This is really brand new. Life in a Nutshell is insanely brand new. There's only 3 videos out there, and I'm not even really sure you can count them as videos. Life in a Nutshell is meant to be broader than just education, whereas Nutshell Brainery is about lectures, what we're doing right now, and resources for teachers to use in their classes. And Nutshell Studio Productions is about how to do online lectures, how to do videos. life in a nutshell is broader. It's like, hey, listen, next 5 years of your life as you go off and build a career, change a career, get married, do stuff right. Here's some guidance, advice, research, case studies, things like that. Okay, so those are my 3 channels. Well, keeping track of where I am in each one of the channels and producing the videos for all these things gets to be a real challenge because I have a day job, right? I have a day job. And I have a wife and family, and she has her projects and so forth, and I have obligations. Yeah, same thing as you guys. It's no different. So I need to find, I've developed a way to really make sure that I stay on top of the videos. So these things here are these little cards that I use to track where I am in each one of the videos that I'm producing. And these 3 cards are just finished, right? These are 3 videos that I just finished and I published out in Nutshell Brainery. I'm going to hit the next on this. Okay, good. So for example, here these 3 videos were evaluating research articles for credibility, writing in a scholarly voice, and editing an academic manuscript. And these videos are out in Nutshell Brainery right now. And here, I'll show you one of the, here's a pure, clean one. Oh, come on, there we go. That'll focus. Hey, there we go. Okay. And then, of course, here's the all messed up used one that I use for tracking. So a video goes through several steps, and these things track those steps. You first have to do the research. Then you write an article. If you go to nutshellbrainery.com, you'll see the articles that I've written in support of these videos. And then I convert that article into a script. Then I do what I call BOAT. BOAT. BOAT is the B-roll, the overlays, the animation, and the thumbnail. So all the graphic art aspects of it. And then I actually prep the next article for the next one so I can keep things going in the pipeline, whatever. Then I actually shoot the video. And then I do a rough edit of that video. And then I do a final edit of the video. I publish the video. Then I write the description, because the description oftentimes has other resources, links to other videos, things like that. So you can't really, at least the way I do it, you can't do the description until you really have the video out there. And then I do the card. So YouTube has these features where little cards, oh, other side, yeah, they'll come up right here. Little cards come up and say, hey, click on this for another video. Update catalog. Go into past videos and take the link that I created for the new video and put it in a past video if necessary. Publish the article. Promote it, meaning tell everyone that I've published this video. And then celebrate. There it is right there. The last one is celebrate. And my wife and I, we celebrated during the 3-day weekend, watched movies, had fun, things like that. So that's really the process that I go through to make these videos and to keep track of where I am in all these darn things. I'm really into time management. I'm into efficiency. I'm into productivity. So that sort of thing just really, that speaks to me. That speaks to me. Okay. Well, we've got 20 seconds left. So we'll go ahead and let folks come in. Laura, you're with us. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and just switch on over here since we can get rid of that. Of course, Scott's been with us this whole time. Andrea, good to see you again. Andrea and I met on Zoom the other day, and it was a great talk. Laura's with us. Great. Adam, fantabulous. We're getting folks coming in. Now, by the way, as you're coming in and getting started, go to pollev.com/Lohnschiffbau without the ER 302. And there's a poll waiting out there for you. So we'll go ahead and get started here in a moment, but I'd like folks to kind of start that poll as we go forward. It is completely anonymous, so you're going to be filling that out and so on and so forth, and nobody, okay, where's my stupid mouse? There it is. Hey, Lynn, nobody will see what you've done, okay? So with that, and while we're doing the poll, I'm going to come on over here, get this set, and we are going to come over to our regularly scheduled program, right? Oh gosh, I do this every single time I say I love this lecture, but I really do love this lecture. Hey, by the way, I think the battery on my lav mic is a little low. If the sound ever cuts out, let me know, and I have a backup plan in place, okay? So, I love this lecture. I love it because this is a fantastic example of how this is not a history class, not a history class. We look at today through the lens of yesterday. We look at yesterday through the lens of today. I forget which way I normally put it. But no lecture makes that more clear than this one on the Protestant work ethic. I also really like this one because remember in our last lecture, I said, hey, you know what? Religion, business don't really play well together, loggerheads, and we talked about all the various religious attitudes toward business. And I said, next week, that all changes. Et voilà, maintenant, c'est la semaine prochaine? Oui, prochain. It is now next week. And we get to see how religion and business go through an absolute rebirth, okay, in terms of their relationship. All right. So with that, what I want to do is I am going to go ahead and pull this up. All right. This is a poll. I would like everyone to go out to, oh, Lon, get out of the way. All right, I'm sorry. That's all right. You just need to let people get in there. Okay, so pollev.com/Lohnschiffbau without the ER, like you know how to spell my name. Yeah, whatever. 302. And, you know, pop on in here. We've got 7 folks that have done that so far. I'd like to invite others to come on in. It is completely anonymous. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about, oh, I'm showing my hand or anything like that. This poll is going to kind of help demonstrate what I mean when I say we really live in this world today. So I'm going to just kind of pause. I'm going to come out of the way and let you take a moment to pull that up and begin the poll. In the meantime, I'll erase all this. Yes, let's take a poll. All right. And if you're still doing it, please continue to do it. We'll just go ahead and start moving forward here so that we can, you know, explore some of these. So the first question was, hey, Should every able-bodied person be required to work in some way or another for their living? I want you to notice that 100% of you said yes. All right? Now, one person, now you've broken it, but that's okay. You're allowed to break it. The majority of you have said, yeah, every able-bodied person should be required to work in some way or another for their livelihood, okay? We're not saying constant or anything like that. It's just, you should put in some level of effort for your livelihood. Okay, very interesting, very good. Let us continue to the next one. If you want to establish a successful career, how many hours a week should you work? Now, you can't see it because I'm in the way. I'm in the way here. Let's see, I'm in browser view. I'm going to turn myself off for just a moment. So you see, we have 40% saying either 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week. Now, 10% of you said, hey, 30 is fine for a successful career. A few of you, 10% of you, have said, no, if you want a really good, successful career, you need 60 hours a week. Okay? Very good, very good. All right, let's come to our next one. How many hours a day spent on TV, social media, and games do you consider acceptable? Okay? And 30% of you said 2 hours a day on TV, social media, games. That's acceptable. 60% of you said, no, I can see 4. I can see 4 hours. 10% said, you know what, 6 hours? I can go with 6 hours a day on these various things. Nobody said 8. Nobody said 8. Now, somebody's going to jump in and say 8, which is fine. The point is, the majority of you, 90, the mic's down there. 90% of you said 2 to 4, 2 to 4. 6, nobody said 8, okay? Well, here's the deal, and we can get rid of that now. What you're talking about here is all these things that we've just explored, and hey, let's get us back to where we were. All those questions were regarding what Max Weber called the Protestant work ethic. He's a sociologist who studied Protestant work ethic and really kind of came up with the theories around it. Let me tell you, I'll just kind of take a moment to give you an overall view of it. Here's the deal. Back in the 1800s or so, we had a whole bunch of Protestants coming about, and one Protestant group in particular, the Calvinists, had this unique theological point of view. The Calvinists believed that your life, first of all, only a few people could get in heaven. What's the number, guys? 440,000, I think it is, something like 440,000. I forget. So only a few select people could go to heaven. Furthermore, they believed in foreordination, which means it has already been decided whether you're going to heaven or not. So imagine that you're a Protestant, and first of all, there's not many seats. 144. Thank you. Yes, Adam, I think that's right. There's not many seats in heaven. There's only 144,000 seats in heaven. And furthermore, it has already been decided from on high whether or not you're going to heaven. So you're constantly looking for signs. You're looking for signs that you have been chosen. Well, What are signs that you've been chosen? Well, one of the signs that they felt demonstrated their righteousness was you're well off. You're contributing to the community. You're a good person. You make a lot of money and you give a lot of money and you invest in your community and you care about the community and you dedicate your life to all that is holy and righteous and in support of your fellow man. If you do these things and you're rewarded, that's a sign that that you've been chosen. Of course, it's a chicken or the egg thing, right? Or causational. Have you been chosen because, were you blessed because you were chosen, or did all your hard work bring about the blessings? Ergo, the issues with preordination, right? But the point is, they felt that their lifestyle would be a sign that they were chosen. So let's explore that lifestyle. By the way, so thank you very much. Let's see. It's this one right here. So we have Adam. Oh, and by the way, a whole bunch of you contributed to the poll. So you're getting that because you participated. You got the points, right? Okay, very good. All right, so let's take a look at this then. We are going to read from the reading a lot, but don't worry, I'll walk you through it and help you understand what Weber is going on about. The first thing we want to talk about is the idea that oh, hold on, I got the wrong pen. I want this one. Accumulation of wealth is inevitable, all right? He's about to make the case that to the Calvinists, the accumulation of wealth would be inevitable from a religious standpoint. Now remember, religion has always kind of had a dubious, skeptical view of wealth. So up until now, the idea of growing wealth would be harmful to your soul. We're about to see how not only is it not harmful to your soul, you're actually required by moral law to develop wealth, to create wealth. So let's take a look at this. All right. Waste of time is thus the first and principal of the deadliest of sins. Okay, you're not allowed to waste time. All right, you're only on this earth for a short period of time, and you have a moral, religious obligation to invest that time to all things righteous. So the waste of time is a horrible sin. The span of human life is infinitely short and precious to make sure of one's own election, whether or not you've been chosen for salvation. Loss of time through sociability, idle talk, luxury, even more sleep than is necessary for health, 6 to at most 8 hours, is worthy of absolute moral condemnation. Okay, wow, right? Now, this is why when you were a kid, and Scott, I expect this is more the case for you than a lot of other students, but to chime in if you heard this, right? Anybody, and we'll rack up some points. But this is why when you were young and your grandparents would come visit and they'd see you on the couch playing video games, they're like, what are you doing with your life? Go off, do something. You're burning daylight. It's a beautiful day. Go off, go outside, right? The idea that you'd sit around idly wasting time to them was worthy of absolute moral condemnation. All right, so that's the first part of this. Second, the Quaker ethic, now Calvinists were related with the Quakers, also holds that a man's life in his calling is an exercise in ascetic virtue. Okay, ascetic virtue, which means no luxury, no ostentatious show of wealth, no bling, okay? No gold grill, no great big gold chains, so on and so forth, right? Yes, early to bed, early to rise, absolutely. So no bling, right? And so they really sought after the ascetic virtue. I'm sorry, I get a little mixed up because I have to figure out what's on the PowerPoint, what's in the comments, and what's on the points, right? People who know what they're doing have producers to help do it. I'm trying to do it all. Okay, a proof of his state of grace through his conscientiousness, which is expressed in the care and method in which he pursues his calling. What God demands is not labor in itself, but rational labor in a calling. In a Puritan concept of the calling, the emphasis is always placed on this methodical character of worldly asceticism, not as with Luther on the acceptance of the lot which God has, assigned to him. By the way, I think one of the things that's happening is I think this thing is getting confused. It's confusing my machine. So I'm going to close that. Okay, so first of all, yeah, my grandparents were old school. TV rots your brain, they said. Yeah, absolutely. You get what I'm saying. And so with that, we are just going to go ahead and take this up, real world examples. And, oh, come on, where's my celebration? Oh, because I'm there we go. There's my celebration. My computer is all lagging today. What the heck? Okay, guys, you know the routine. You are going to send me an email afterwards with the timestamp of 10:17. So send me that, and we'll take care of you. I always take care of you. You know that. Okay, let's come back to this. So what are they saying? It's saying you're going to live an ascetic life. You're not going to buy big homes, big carts, big horses. I don't know, right? You're not going to be ostentatious. You're going to be ascetic. You're going to be humble, minimalist. Okay? All right. So now here's the third point. Come along. You can get there. There we go. Okay. When the limitation of consumption, don't spend it. Remember, you're not spending this stuff on ostentatious luxury. You're not spending it on bling. Is combined with this release of acquisitive activity. In other words, work your butt off because you're not allowed to waste time. So are you going to go off and play and be frivolous? No, that's idle. You're not allowed to be idle. You're not allowed to waste time. You're not allowed to socialize overly. You're not allowed to sleep overly. And so you're going to work, right? So when we combine this ascetic lifestyle with work, the inevitable practical result is obvious. Accumulation of capital through ascetic compulsion to save. If you're going to work and you're not going to spend it, you're going to get a lot of money. You're going to save that. You're going to have the money. The restraints which were imposed upon the consumption of wealth naturally serve to increase it by making possible the productive investment of capital. We're going to come back to that. But here's the takeaway, right? If you're productive, you'll make money. And if you don't spend that money, but invest it, as the scriptures tell us to, you'll accumulate wealth. Wealth is the inevitable result of a moral life. Okay? Yeah, does sound like Dave Ramsey's, right? Yeah, Dave Ramsey. Of Great example. Great example. So let me explain what I mean by the scriptures there, right? One of the things that the Calvinists point out is the Christian parable of the talents. Now, if you don't know the parable of the talents, here's how it goes. There's this wealthy landowner, this wealthy dude, and I'm going to paraphrase this into modern terms, right, for the sake of this example. And he's about to go out of the country. He's going to be away a while, and he turns to his 3 servants, his 3 money managers, and says, listen, I need you to manage my money. So he gives one person like half his wealth. He gives another person 25% of it, or 30% of his wealth, and he gives another person 20% of his wealth, just, going down, and says, it's your job to manage my money, and he skips town, right? Well, so the first guy, he takes the money and he invests it, right? As does the second guy. He invests it as well. Even though he has less money, he still invests it. The third guy, though, who only had like 20% of this dude's wealth, he was like, investing is dangerous. That's foolish. There's no way I'm going to invest this. If I invest it and lose it, this guy's going to be pissed. I'm going to just put it in a mattress, okay? Well, the master comes back and says, so, time for you to account for yourselves. What do you do with the money that I asked you to manage? First guy says, well, I invested it and I doubled it for you. And the dude goes, awesome. You're getting this massive reward. All right, you doubled my money. I like it. Goes to the second guy, says, what do you do with my money? And he says, I invested it. What else would I do? And I doubled it. Now, even though he had less money to manage, he got the same reward as the first guy. This is important. God doesn't care how much he gave you and and so on and so forth. He's not going to measure you by how much he gave you. He's going to measure you by what he gave you. And so since the second guy doubled it, just like the first guy, even though he had been given less, he got the same reward. Okay? So some of us are given less in life, right? Like, I'm ugly as sin, right? But if I can double this ugliness by making videos, wow, I'm not going to think about that too hard. But you see what I mean, right? Okay, so he then goes to the third guy and says, what do you do with my money? And he says, well, there's no way I was going to lose this in investment. So I kind of put it in a mattress. Here it is, the exact same amount you gave me. The master was pissed. He's like, nah, you're fired, get out of here, no severance pay, all that stuff. So this, the Calvinists would cite as scriptural proof that God wants you to invest in the community, right? And so therefore, we kind of see this thing going on here, that if you're productive and you don't waste your time and you don't spend it ostentatiously on luxuries, and you invest your money, you're gonna get rich. And furthermore, that's because you're a moral person. Wow, isn't that cool? Damien says, by the way, an ex-girlfriend whose dad was part of Opus Dei, oh yes, made famous by Da Vinci Code. They believe, yeah, right to heaven, chasing perfection, absolutely. Had to be perfect in all you did, yeah. And I wouldn't make it. Okay, so let's continue on. All right, now, there were acceptable and unacceptable ways to accumulate wealth. Now, again, the revelatory thing that I want you to remember, just this whole wow thing, is that by living a moral life, you would get wealthy. Therefore, wealth was an indication of morality. Okay? Well, unacceptable way is Wealth is thus bad ethically only so far as it is a temptation to idleness and sinful enjoyment of life, and its acquisition is bad only when it is with the purpose of living merrily and without care. Okay? So, oh, by the way, we had a real world example. I apologize. Yeah, very good. Okay, so what does this mean? It says, listen, you're not allowed to accumulate wealth with the intent of just living without care. So if you're saying, oh, my goal in life is to retire when I'm 55 and live from 55 to 95 for 40 years without ever working, no, that would not be considered an acceptable reason to accumulate wealth. You work until you're in the grave, right? So no, it's not so you can be idle. It's not so you can live a merry, luxurious lifestyle. All right. However, an acceptable, in fact, morally required reason to accumulate wealth. But as a performance of duty in a calling, it is not only morally permissible, but actually enjoined. Enjoined means required, okay? The parable of the servant who was rejected because he did not increase the talent which was entrusted to him seemed to say so directly. I'm sorry, I just wig out at this. Just this amazing revolution wherein we've made business something that was frowned upon by religion, all of a sudden something that's required by religion. And it still affects us today, okay? All right, let's keep going. Now, one of the things you saw here is that labor is a calling. This is an interesting idea, one that still sticks around. Let's explore this, okay? Even the wealthy shall not eat without working, for even though they do not need to labor to support their own needs, there is God's commandment, which they, like the poor, must obey. For everyone without exception, God's providence has prepared a calling, which he should profess and in which he should labor. It is a direct consequence of the design scheme of things, right? I haven't wigged out. So, Scott, by the way, I use so many old terms. The other day, I used an old man term, and I thought, I wonder if people would understand that today. Anyway, so the idea here is, even if you're wealthy, you have to work. Because work is not simply a matter of getting money. Work is a matter, my mouse is wigging out, is a moral calling. It is a calling from God. Okay? You're not allowed to sit around idle. You're not allowed to just fiddle away your time. You have a calling. You have a moral obligation to work. Okay? Therefore, you work all the time whether you need to work or not. All right? Continuing with this. Come along, you. The differentiation of men into classes and occupations established through historical development became for Luther, as we have seen, a direct result of divine will. The perseverance of the individual in the place and within the limits which God had assigned to him was a religious duty. What? Okay, let me explain what he's saying here, okay? Remember, when the master rewarded or punished the third servant, rewarded the first two servants, he had assigned a different level of his wealth to these two servants. And yet, they both got rewarded equally because they were true with what they had been given. This assertion is that the fact that we are broken up into classes, the fact that we have different jobs, different callings. Maybe I'm a teacher and my wife is a rad tech and my daughter is an MA and my son is a loan officer and my other son works agriculture, so on and so forth. Everybody's work is equally divine, and everybody has a moral obligation to excel in that duty. So it's the whole idea of God is no, discriminator of persons. I forget the term. I forget the scripture. But it basically says everybody has equal opportunity to go to heaven. It doesn't matter where you are in the social structure. So whether you're a baker or a landowner or a factory owner or a horse, breeder, doesn't matter. Everybody's work is equally divine. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about influence of this Puritan attitude today. Because I maintain that the reason you guys and gals selected what you did in our original poll, I maintain that those are examples of the Protestant work ethic. The fact that you said the majority of us should work to earn their living, Protestant work ethic. The fact that you said that to build a career, you need to work more rather than less, Protestant work ethic. The fact that the majority of you said, hey, 2 to 4 hours max in this sort of frivolous video games, TV, social media, 6, maybe 8 hours, that's too much. That's the Protestant work ethic. So let's explore some of these today. Respecter of persons. Thank you, Adam. That's going to get a real world example because he cited the scripture for me. Thank you. Okay, so let's explore this. Oh, push the button. Come along, you. I know you're there. Oh, come along. What's wrong? All right, let's try this. Oh, did it poop out on me again? Oh, it pooped out on me again. Okay, so did it really? I guess it. Oh, no, here we are. It woke up. Let me make sure that we are on the right one. Well, okay, we're going to just start here. Can I remember the Protestants didn't like wasting of time. And as you pointed out, yeah, break out the whiteboard, that's right. As you pointed out, even you guys said, hey, 2 to 4 hours spent online or spent gaming and so forth, that's appropriate. Anything more than that is probably inappropriate, right? Let's see what else we've got. I apologize. This thing is just really lagging. I really want to bring up some quotes, though. Oh, I can't tell you how much I want to bring up some quotes from a news report. Oh, come along, you. Let's see if I come over here. Yeah, we're just going to kind of mess with this, right? Gosh. What if I come over here and go to, oh gosh, let's say, let's do end show. I want to discard those, and I want to come here, and we're going to redo this. And then, okay, we're going to just get it working the hard way there. Okay, now use of time. In this particular video here, I won't play the video because I don't want to get sued. Elon Musk makes the assertion that if you're going to really kick ass and take names in this world, Veni, Vidi, Vici, right? I came, I saw, I conquered. He says you need to work about 80. 80 to 100 hours a week. 80 to 100. And the person who's interviewing him, she's kind of astonished. But he says, listen, it's simple math. If one person who's working 40 hours a week can get done a week's worth of work, then I can get done in half a week what that person does in 1 week, right? So he is highly, highly driven by, work and hours, and it's all he thinks about, right? Now, a lot of people, and I bet a lot of you, and if you're one of them, good for you. A lot of people want to start their own business, and I don't blame them. Et voilà, moi aussi. I've started my own businesses, I have them and so forth. One of the things that kind of makes a business attractive is people say, I can work whenever I want. Flexibility. I can work whenever I want. And the response to that from people who know is, it's true. You can work any 80 hours in a week that you want. In other words, sure, if you want to take an afternoon off, you can, but you still need to put in 80 hours a week to get a business off the ground and make that business successful. And that's very Protestant work ethic, isn't it? Okay, let's continue. If this thing will let me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wonder if I can just hit next. Oh, there we go. We'll do that one. Okay. Now, let's talk about, should people be required to work for a livelihood? All right. Let's first read this from the reading. To wish to be poor was, it was often argued, the same as wishing to be unhealthy. It is objectionable as a glorification of works and derogatory to the glory of God, especially begging. Especially begging on the part of one who is able to work is not only the sin of slothfulness, but a violation of the duty of brotherly love according to the apostles' own words. Oh my gosh, how damning can you get, right? One who is begging, a panhandler who is able to work, is an affront on every level according to the Protestant work ethic. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to tell you, this is a news report, very fascinating news report. I ought to give you the link. I have put the link in the description. This thing's amazing to watch. Where these reporters did a study to figure out, they figured out, hey, how much do panhandlers make? Spoiler alert, panhandlers make a lot of money. They actually had 3 reporters go out and do different panhandling techniques to see what works. The panhandler who didn't know what he was doing and was lame made something like, $8 or $9 in the hour or something. I forget what it was. Didn't do well. Another panhandler who kind of knew a little bit more, or at least tried some different things, made something like $20, $25 an hour. The third panhandler made like $30, $35 an hour panhandling, okay? So I want to read you some quotes. This is a conversation between this dude, I forget his name, we'll see his name here in a moment, and this dude, the reporter, all right? So, conversation. Oh, Mike Adams, that was his name. Okay, the interviewer. What do you tell people when they tell you, why don't you get a job? All right. Mike Adams, I've got one. I'm a traveler. What do you mean, why don't I get a job? I have a job, I'm a traveler. The interviewer, so you consider this your job? And Mike Adams, goddamn right. Interviewer, do you want to do anything else? Flip no, heck no. No, I'm doing what I want to be doing. But now watch this. We're going to keep going. Interviewer, would you say that you're a professional panhandler? Mike Adams, working on it. You've got to improve. You've got more. You want to do more? Mike Adams, yeah, don't you improve at your job? Yeah, I improve at mine. Where's the disconnect? So, this is what I want to ask you. And we're going to go to our question thing here. Do you think panhandling can be considered work? Okay. Mike Adams considered himself a professional traveler. It's something he's working on. He'd been doing it for years and years, and he's always trying to develop his craft. Is that professional? Is that work? Okay. So let's go to our question thingamajigger and tell me if you think it can be considered work, yes or no, and why yes or why no. All right, let's play with this. Oh my gosh, you people are good. Let me tell you why you're good. I saw critical thinking. Now, let me explain. So, first of all, dang straight you're getting this. Come on. We're taking, it's not working, but that real world example point thing there, it's to the top. All right, and references to past lectures, we're adding to it. Let me explain why you're good and why we're talking critical thinking. A couple of you did this. Laura did this, and then Adam did it. Laura first said, no, it doesn't work. You're taking something from others and not giving anything in return. That was a knee-jerk thought. Right? That was just the immediate, of course it's not work. Why are we even talking about this? This is ridiculous. But then check out what she did. She went, yes. On the other hand, it could be because you're giving your time for money. Oh, mwah, that's freaking beautiful. Adam, you did the same thing. Adam said, I don't really consider it work. If they're playing an instrument or something, then I could see that work. But then I'm reading Laura's comment. I can see why I could be wrong with my first statement. Adam, you bring up a good point. This, oh my gosh, I just feel so warm all over. This is critical thinking, folks. This is critical thinking. Critical thinking is when we do not fall back on our immediate assumptions and our immediate worldview without thought, and we examine our world assumptions, we examine our feelings, and we critically analyze them, and then we reassess them based on the value of what we thought originally. I love it. Okay, you guys, so first of all, let's play with a few things here. First of all, I guarantee you they're providing a service. So Laura, Adam, you're right. And many of you others as well. They are providing a service, and I can prove that they are providing a service. You're not required to give them money. And yet we give them a lot of money. We would not give them money unless they were providing a service. Now, the question is, what is the service that they're providing? Well, that depends on the individual, okay? Some people just want to feel better about themselves and want to feel like, I see an opportunity, I should give it. As the wife of previous LDS prophet, Camilla Kimball said once, never suppress a generous thought. And so if the thought comes into your mind, I ought to help them, never suppress a generous thought. And so you feel good that you followed what you feel is a virtuous admonishment. Maybe you think you really, truly can help them. Maybe you've been homeless before and you feel empathy. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I just did my diatribe and I was reading your comments, and so I was up at high, right? I really hope you heard how I told you that you are practicing critical thinking, because you guys exercised tremendous critical thinking in that. Okay? All right. I can't read lips. Okay, you're out for a bit, but we have no idea what you said. Okay, you heard that. Okay, Scott, you guys heard that. All right. I'm going to just go over one last thing real quick. I apologize if you heard this. I maintain that panhandlers do indeed provide a service. They do indeed provide a service. The question and the proof that they do provide a service is that we give them money. You're not required to give them money, and yet we voluntarily give them money. Therefore, it stands to reason that they are providing some sort of service. Now, what kind of service that is, well, that's up to you as the individual. Maybe you want to feel better about yourself. Maybe you feel empathy toward this person. Maybe you want to connect with them. Maybe you want to help where you can. In my case, I don't like that the state or cities say that you can't give to panhandlers. And so to me, it's a way of poking in the eye of the man who says, oh, no, you shouldn't give to panhandlers. Hey, no way. I'm not going to let a bureaucrat stand in the way of how I relate with the homeless problem. Okay? So they totally provide a service. Excellent work. Excellent work, guys. I so apologize that the sound cut out and I didn't have that set properly. Oh. All right. Okay, so let's continue on. Now, by the way, so just a little story. When I was 16 years old, I hitchhiked and juggled my way through Europe with my best friend. That's my best friend. That's me. We juggled in the streets for food, and we starved. Okay? Over there, it's called busking, and it is illegal. We got rousted a few times. Here, it's called street performing and panhandling. So I spent a month of my life panhandling in Europe. Now, here's the thing. When you look at this young 16-year-old kid out there juggling and hitchhiking around Europe, you think, whoa, that's romantic. Imagine that adventure. That's insane. That's crazy. Wow, what stories. And you're kind of like, tell me more, right? That's no different than what our friend in the previous quotes is. He's a traveler. All right? That's all. Okay. Last thing is this whole differentiator of men, right? You know, the perseverance of the individual in place has limits. You know, God has assigned you a role, is the idea. Remember? Well, here's a talk by Dallin H. Oaks. He's one of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, big here in Utah. I'm actually a big fan of this guy. I'm a big fan, all right? Nevertheless, I would like to share with you from his talk an example of how the Protestant work ethic is seeping in, right? So he says, like the pioneers, we should thank God for our adversities and pray for guidance in meeting them. Through that attitude and through faith and obedience, we realize the promises God's given us. It's all part of the plan. Okay, now watch this. I love the musical and motion picture Fiddler on the Roof. Okay? I love Fiddler on the Roof. He's right. It's amazing. There's a wonderful Jewish father sings, "If I Were a Rich Man." His memorable prayer concludes with this pleading question. Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you who decreed I should be what I am, would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man? Now watch this. Yes, Tevye, it might. Let us give thanks for what we are and the circumstances God has given us for our personal journey through mortality. This is an example of the Protestant work ethic saying no matter where you are in the tiers of society, God has placed you in that place, and it is your calling, and you are required to do the very best you can in your calling, because that is what God has decreed for you. And so, in a way, the Protestant work ethic sort of says, know your place. Yes, you're required to work hard and to build wealth and so on and so forth, but it's not your place to look down on somebody else, nor is it your place to look up to somebody else and wish that you were there. Everybody has their place, and you should pretty much just accept what God has given you. Give thanks for what we are and the circumstances God has given us for our personal journey through morality. Very much grounded in the ideas of Protestant work ethic. The thing I'm going to end on here is a quote from Herman Melville from Moby Dick. Toil is man's allotment, toil of brain or toil of hands, or a grief that's more than either, the grief and sin of idleness. You should never be idle. Toil is the way to go. Protestant work ethic and Puritan work ethic interchangeable? Yes. In the book by Max Weber, he calls it the Protestant work ethic. It's also called oftentimes the Puritan work ethic. Okay. And so, folks, there you go. You maxed things out today. So congratulations. I apologize for the sound. I should have been paying closer attention. I just get so excited at reading the comments that I didn't see the bottom one saying you're dead. So send me that email with the timestamp, and you're all set for the next assignments. And have a great rest of the week. Stay safe on the roads. And we'll see you again real soon, I guess, next week. All right? Have a good one. We'll see you later.